So year 9 we're up to 12.3, which is calculating area, and most of this is revision from last year, which is great. Hopefully as a class or by yourself we have filled out the area formula sheet, which is on Compass. Now you remember from the last lesson, the difference you'll see here when we were doing perimeter or when we were just changing straight units for straight lines, it was millimetres, centimetres, metres and kilometres. This time, because we're doing area, we have squares on these, and we do the same thing except one little thing differently. So we're going to have our arrows still come along the top going to the right and along the bottom going to the left. And this one is still divided by 10. So we know that if it was straight from millimetres to centimetres, if we have 10 millimetres, we divide by 10 and we get 1 centimetre. But when it's squared, it's divided by 10 squared. Then we use the same pattern. So this one's going to be divided by 100 squared. And from metre squared to kilometres squared, we're going to divide by 1,000 squared. So then along the bottom, these are of course multiply, same number, 1,000, but this time it's squared. To get from metres squared to centimetres squared, we're going to have multiplied by 1,000 squared. And to get from centimetres to millimetres, we're going to multiply by 10 squared. And the other thing that you need to know this year is that 1 hectare is worth 10,000 square metres or metres squared. So the first thing we're going to do is just one example of one of these. And we're going to convert 2.4 kilometres squared, firstly into metres squared, so from kilometres squared to metres squared, and then we're going to change that into hectares. Don't forget, you need to pause the video to copy this down. Okay, so let's have a look at our table. We've got kilometres squared and we want to go to metres squared. So we're going to go down this way. So our basic value is 2.4, and the table says that to get from kilometre squared to metre squared, we're going to multiply by 1,000 squared. Now, 1,000 squared is just however many zeros you've got, you want to double that. So we're going to do a 1. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so from then, if we're going to multiply, we're going to go to the right. So we're going to go one step here, which is one of the zeros. Then we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more spots. Okay, now I'm not going to go boom, boom, boom 5 times, but you might want to do that. But this will become 2, 4, and then we've already done 1 spot there. So we have 5 more zeros we need to add on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our answer is 2,400,000, and we've turned it into metres squared from kilometres squared. Don't forget. All right. The next thing we want to do is divide to make it into hectares. So 1 hectare is worth 10,000 metres squared, but we have 2,400,000 metres squared. So we want to work out how many hectares are in there. So we're going to divide by how many metres squared there are in a hectare. And this is the same every time. So if you're a bit confused, once you've got metres squared, because that's what our basic one is that we use for a hectare, then you divide by 10,000 every time. So if you're dividing by 10,000, that's going back 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4 spots. So your answer is going to be 240 hectares. Okay. Now, if that was a bit fast or you're not sure, rewind and have a listen to it again. Or you can have a look on page 426 at example 7. There's another one of them in there if you need to. All right. Please pause the video and copy these diagrams down. All right, so the first one we have, we're calculating the area. Hopefully you know you've got the sheet in front of you, or you just remember that the area of a rectangle is going to be one side multiplied by the other. So this is 8 by 4, and 8 4 is 32. And the big thing, because you're going to lose marks, is make sure you put a squared on the end, because it is the area of something. Okay, if you're looking up your sheet, or you just remember the area, I'm just going to move my box a bit. The area of a triangle is half base times height. So we're going to go half times base, which is 21, multiplied by the height, which is 16. And you want to check these are in the same units, because if they weren't in the same units, you'd have to change them so they were. Now you can put that all in the calculator if you want to. You would put 0.5 times 21 times 16. Or you could do an easy bit first. So I'm going to do a half of 16 is 8. And then I'm going to multiply that by 21. But if you want to put that all into your calculator, that's fine. That's no worries. What are we going to get? 8 2s 160. So it's going to be 168, putting on the end centimetres squared. Okay, hopefully you've recognised the next diagram is that of a parallelogram. And the parallelogram area formula is pretty easy. It's just length times height, or length times width, whatever you want to say, it doesn't really matter. And just be careful to be able to locate what they are. So this is obviously the length. This is how long it is, so that's okay. But to trick you, they've put 2 in, so I've put 2 in. There's an 11 here and a 10 here. You need to work out which one it is that is the height. Okay, now it's different to the rectangle. So the rectangle would be what the two sides are, but that's not the case. We need the height from top to bottom. And if you've got 10 here, it means you've got 10 here. And the height will always make a right angle with the length that you've put in. So that's why the 11's not the answer for the height, because there's no right angle. So it's actually going to be 12 times 10. Okay, and that will come out to be 120 centimetres squared. Okay, the next one, I would say if we're in class, what kind of diagram is this of? And hopefully someone would say it's a trapezium. And the area of a trapezium, if you're looking at your formula sheet, is a half bracket a plus b over times h. And the tricky thing is the a and the b, they've got to be, it doesn't matter which order they go, but they can't be out here with the height. They have to be the right ones. They are the sides, the red sides that I'm going to draw, that are parallel. So the two sides that never meet, okay, because they are parallel. They're the ones that you want to put inside the bracket. And the height is going to be the one, again, same as last one, that makes a right angle with these two sides. So if you were given this line here to trick you, that is not the height, because it doesn't make a right angle with the two red lines. So if we were to put that in, we'd have a half times. Now inside the bracket, they're the two lines that never meet. Okay, these are the two lines that never meet. They are parallel. So inside the bracket, we're going to go 14 plus 6.3, and we're going to multiply that by the height. There's only one here, so it must be 10, but just check it is the one that has the right angle with both of these two sides. So we're going to multiply that by 10. All right, so BIDMAS says that we do the brackets first. Inside the brackets is going to be 20.3, and we're going to multiply that by 10. Okay, so I'm going to do this. You could put it straight into your calculator. I'm going to go a half of 10 is 5. 5 times 20.3. Go ahead, get the answer straight from your calculator if you're here. Is 520 is 100.3 times 5 is, gosh, what am I doing? 101.5, I think. 0.3 times 15, yeah, 101.5 should be right. 5, 10, 15. Yep, that sounds good. Okay, and we got meters, so meters squared. Okay. check out that one again, please, if you need to, all right? And don't forget, when you get to work on these in the lesson, come back and have a look at these questions if you need some help. All right, then you're going to get some like this, which is a kite. And the kite states the area is the length by the width. The length of this kite, the whole area there, or the whole line is 20. And how wide it is 16. So we're going to have 20 times 16 for this one, which should give you 320. And make sure you put meters squared on the end. And the good old circle, area of a circle. So we're going to have area equals pi r squared. And we're going to have pi, which we're going to leave as pi just like that because we're going to use our calculator for that, times the radius. So remembering the radius is the distance between the center of the circle to outside the circle. So it's going to be 5 squared. So we're going to have pi times 25. And this time I am going to use a calculator. And we need to make sure we would put 2 decimal places, let's say today, please. Now, if you get what I just get, can you see mine? Yep, so it came out as 25 pi, which is useless, really. So you press this button here, the 2 arrow button, and it gives you the answer in decimals. So you should get 78 point, now it's 539, so that goes up to 54 with millimeters squared on the end. So I'll just say that again. As you can see, I punched in pi times 25 and it gave me 25 pi. Don't like that much. So just straight away, I press this button here, the 2 arrows above the enter or below the plus sign. And that will give me my answer in decimals. Now, some of you might like to stop the video here and do the first half of these questions before we go on to the compound area shapes. Actually, I think I'm going to stop you all there and maybe tell you to do them. So, if you would like to write down, just bear with me for a second, I'll work out which ones are those I would like you to do. So we are at 12.3 and you can do question 1, then I'm just going to rip my page so I can see 2, A, D, let me see, sorry, A, C, E, G, I want A, C, E, G. And then I'm going to get you to do 3, B, C, E, F, H, and J. And then we're going to stop and I'm going to get you to, you can keep going if you want to, but I think the second part of 12.3, it would be better if you did these first and did the second part of 12.3 once you've had a go at these. These should probably take you about 15-20 minutes. Once you're done, press the next video for this period. Thanks, guys.